How's it going, everybody? Exciting news, we now have the official announcement of the Pokemon Presents, which will air on Pokemon Day at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 a.m. Pacific. We all predicted it would happen, but it's nice to have an actual confirmation. I thought for this video I would go over some of my hopes and dreams and wishes and predictions for what we may see in this Presents. I know a lot of people out there are hoping we see like nothing, which part of me also hopes for, because that means it might be giving Game Freak more time to actually make the games and not make them as buggy or glitchy or low frame rate. But then there's the other part of me, the part that has all the hype, that really hopes that we see something cool. I know it's way too early for Gen 10. We're not getting that. That would be insane. Of course, when we got the Gen 9 announcement, nobody saw what happened. But Gen 10, we're still probably another year or two away from that. I have a little checklist here of things I'm hoping for, or, I doubt we'll get all of this, but at least one or two of these things would be amazing. And I'm going through this video unscripted, so I just have a little bullet point list here of things I'm hoping for. I'll try to just talk, from the heart, with no script or anything. So number one, that's on everybody's mind, black and white remakes, which I would be all for. Some people say it might be still a little too early for that, which is true, maybe. But it's also been quite a while since Black and White. But then you come across the situation, do you remake Black and White or Black and White 2? Or do you remake both of them, or do you combine them into a single game? Or I don't know. Yeah, it's a whole mess maybe. Or do we get like a Black and White 3? Do they make a sequel to those two games? That might be the cleanest way to do it, so you don't have to worry about remaking one or two or both or whatever. But I don't know. It would be cool. But we need to kind of see those stories continued maybe in some, reimagining of the whole region. I don't know, or seeing like the future of that region, where it all went, I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see for that. But there have also been some talks, maybe instead of a Black and White remake, we might get a Johto remake, so like Gold, Silver, Crystal style remake, or maybe a Heart Gold, Soul Silver remake technically. Yeah, which I would maybe even like more, because I'm a huge fan of Johto and of Generation 2. And that may be more likely since it's been technically longer since Heart Gold, Soul Silver than how long it's been since, Black and White 2 or whatever. So we've been the longest without revisiting Johto, which maybe will lend some credence to the possibility. And I don't know, I think we might get something Gen 2 related, though, or something Johto related. And if you look at the announcement for this Presents, right, there's like a little video, cute little Pikachu, whatever, accompanying it. And then, but the background music they chose is very like, old school, like Gen 2 kind of era Pokemon music. But then if you look at the YouTube short that they posted for this Presents, they actually tagged Gold and Silver in it, and somebody had to actually type that in. So it's like, is that a hint that Gold and Silver will be part of this Presents in some way? Or was it only tagged that way because the music is from Gold and Silver? So I don't know, that they used for the little announcement video. But the fact that Gold and Silver is in that little video could be a tease that we're going to get something Gold and Silver-esque. And whether that be a full remake of Gold and Silver, that would be really cool. Or maybe a Legends of Celebi, or whatever they choose to go there. Legends of Lugia, Suicune, whatever they might choose to be like the main mystical/legendary that the game could be based around. That would be really cool. They have a kind of a legend style game in the Johto region, the Johto of old, since there is a lot of history and lore that, we could explore in a game like that, looking in the past of the Johto region. Maybe see when the 3 legendary beasts became the legendary beasts, when they were resurrected by Ho-Oh or something. There's a lot of stuff they could do there, That would be really cool. Or will we get like a Let's Go Johto game, which is kind of at the bottom of my list of things. I don't want that. I love Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. And in my opinion, some of the best looking games on the Switch. I mean, I literally cried when I first saw the reveal trailer of those games back in the day, like just tearing up, like, because it was so nostalgic. And being able to revisit the region in this beautiful HD graphics, it was great. It's kind of like what I always imagined Kanto would look like in my head, sort of back when you're playing it as a kid on the OG Game Boy. Those games were fun. I would have had more fun with them if you didn't have to go catching mechanics, having to throw the ball and stuff. But that's why I kind of don't want a Johto in the Let's Go style. If it visually looked like Let's Go, I wouldn't maybe mind it as much. But I don't really want to see the catchy mechanics return. I feel like Let's Go was a game of its time. It was meant to promote Pokemon Go when that game was sort of at the height of its popularity, give or take, a few years into that game. And it did work to convert some people, from Pokemon Go players to main series game players. So it kind of served its purpose. And I don't know if they ever intended to do a sequel. And I guess in theory, they already have Kanto built, so they would just have to build Johto in that style and then tack Kanto on the back of it, and it might be less work for them. I don't know. I wouldn't hate it, but I also wouldn't super wish for it. But if we do get some kind of Johto something, I'm hoping for either a Legends game or just a full-on remakes of those games. That would be kind of cool. except I really don't want a BDSP style remake. I wish they would do something a little cooler with it if they are going to remake those games. Same with Black and White. If they remake the games, I would like something kind of cooler and more, I don't know, more modern. Probably not like a full Scarlet Violet, like open world version of those games, because that would be a lot of work. I don't know. Even like a 2.5D kind of style remake of those games would be pretty cool. And then maybe on top of it, eventually, if not next year, or if not this year, maybe at some point in the future, a Legends style game in those regions. I don't know. I feel like we're going to get some kind of cool announcement for one of these things during this Pokemon Presents. If we get none of it, it'll be kind of disappointing, but it also will mean that maybe they're taking their time on the next game and aren't rushing it, which maybe will be, kind of good. But at the same time, it'll be a bummer because I get all hyped for these things and I want to see something cool. After they go through their standard, here's all our mobile apps and what's going on with those, and some of the other little, anime maybe trailers and other things they might want to show off. When we get to that one more thing in the presentation, will it be one of these games? I don't know. I think we have a pretty high chance. And from some of the rumors I've been hearing online, one of them is likely to happen, maybe, possibly. But it gives me hope for Johto. The fact that, they tagged that YouTube short with the Johto, or with the Pokemon Gold and Silver as the game. But another thing I would love if, I don't know if they're ever going to revisit these games, but Pokemon Colosseum and or XD Gale of Darkness, not necessarily a full remake, well, even though that would be awesome, but like a remaster or like a port even just onto the Switch, that'd be super cool. But if they want to remaster them, like the way they remastered Metroid Prime, because that game looks gorgeous on the Switch now, that would be awesome to see those games reimagined like that and with way better graphics and textures, even though the gameplay then would be, pretty much the same, because those games are awesome. Some of the best Pokemon games ever made, So those would be super fun. I still haven't fully played through both of them. I started on the channel a while back playing Colosseum, so I gotta revisit that and kind of hop back in and finish that at some point. But I love those games. They're really cool. And they're quite the challenge. And the whole concept of them is neat. So those are other games I would love to see represented in some way. But I guess another thing I really hope we get, this may be my number one thing, even above any other game that they could announce. If they just re-release like the original Pokemon Game Boy games on the Switch, either through the Nintendo Switch Online service, which might be the less likely of the options, but if they just had like a Pokemon Classic collection, I would buy it in a second. And even better, if somehow they could link to the Pokemon Stadium, NSO titles, be able to actually use those save files in that game to be able to transfer in Pokemon you might be training, and instead of using rentals only. And a little side note, I'm currently doing a rentals only challenge in Pokemon Stadium 2 on Nintendo Switch Online in the N64 app if you want to go check that out after this video. It's pretty challenging because you have to only use rentals and there's no way to transfer in your own Pokemon. But maybe if they release the classic games like Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, Crystal, we could then link up to those titles and actually transfer in Pokemon. That would be super awesome. And maybe even throw in like Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald so you can get the Game Boy Advance ones in there too. So you can have all the Game Boy titles. Oh, that'd be so cool. I feel like it's time, I predicted this last Pokemon Day, I think it was. I did a whole video talking about it. Like how awesome it would be and the way they would announce it, maybe. None of that happened. It was very disappointing. So that video did not age well. This year, I think we have a higher chance, maybe, or maybe a lower chance since it's been so long. Maybe they've chosen not to consider it. I don't know. But that would be super cool. Especially because you can't even buy those games on the Virtual Console anymore since those eShops have closed down. Well, come on, man. It would be so cool, in order to maintain the connectivity from like the original games up to the present ones. You want to kind of be able to release those games on the Switch, and then you can have Pokemon Home connectivity to them. I'm sure they could get that to work somehow. I'm no software engineer, but I'm sure they can find a way to connect those up, like they connected to Pokemon Bank with the Virtual Console versions. That would be awesome, because then you could like play those games, train Pokemon, transfer them all the way up to Scarlet and Violet. That would be super cool. But this may be just wishful thinking. I don't know. It may be my number one hope, even over Black and White remakes or Black and White 3 or Legends, whatever. Getting those old games on the system would be super awesome. And that would be maybe even a compromise, getting something super cool like these games playable on the Switch, and then maybe no other mainline game this year, proving that maybe they're taking their time trying to plan things out and work a little slower to not screw it all up again and make a buggy mess. Another reason I've heard that people think that this might not happen, at least not on NSO, is because of the whole cloud save issue and the whole save state, you can do in those apps. Because you could easily use that and kind of cheat in Pokemon, and why maybe there's more of a chance of getting like a standalone collection, like a standalone app that's like Pokemon Classics. That is its own thing. They can have like save stating and cloud saves fully disabled for that app, so there's no issues there. And then they can do what they gotta do to link it up to maybe Stadium if they want to, or to home, which I hope they would do at the bare minimum, and make it kind of really work really cool. Yeah, that's my number one, maybe even over most of these other things. But I also really hope there's like some kind of Johto representation. But if we just get one of these things that I've listed out in this video, that would be enough for me to be satisfied with the presentation. So I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. And we're about a week away from when I'm recording this, so it's getting exciting. Yeah, coming up this weekend, it's gonna be all a lot of fun Pokemon stuff. You know, there's like the Pokemon Go tour, Sinnoh, so that's gonna be fun. And then on Tuesday is then Pokemon Day with this presentation, so be sure to tune in for my reaction to that, and we'll see if any of these things I've mentioned in this video come true. I hope so, fingers crossed. Yeah, and maybe it's a good sign if they give us nothing, like that means they're working on stuff a little bit more thoroughly, but I want to see something. Just throw us a bone, you know? Even if it's just some other spin-off. But anyway, hope you've enjoyed this quick little discussion video. Think, contemplating what may come on Pokemon Day. Hit that like button if you've enjoyed it, and maybe comment down below what you're hoping to see. Maybe I'll even do a poll, and I'll put like a pinned comment. You can go down there and click that to get to the poll and vote. Like, I'll put the things I mentioned in this video on it, and you can vote what you think is most likely to happen. Or if you think nothing will happen, I'll have that be an option as well. And also make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos, including my reaction to the Pokemon Presents when it premieres on Pokemon Day, February 27th. But I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.